So if you struggle with hooking up 3-point implements, whether it be a bush hog or a disc, box blade, plow, anything like that, if you struggle hooking it up because it's just hard to get those arms, those 3-point arms, exactly where you want them, and to be able to hook that up. It's just, I have struggled more in the last 2 or 3 years than I've ever struggled in my life. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, I don't know. But if you struggle with that too, I have got the solution for you. You've probably seen this before, but if you're here watching this, it's because you're very interested in it. And I'm going to tell you why I chose this over a traditional box type, big frame, easy hitch, quick hitch, and why I chose this instead. But this is the Pat's Easy Change quick hitch type system. Just going to unbox it real quick, and then we're going to get to the installation, and then we're going to show you how easy it is to hook it up on implements. Everything you need right here, instructions right here. This is the category 2. Miss Sherry said that the Cat 2 would probably be best for me. I reached out to Pat's, and they sent me this to review for y'all and to show you exactly how to put it on and how it can absolutely simplify your life. It's going to simplify mine, I'm sure. This is the Cat 2 Pat's Easy Change. Everything you need is in the box, and I'll tell you why I chose the Pat's instead of the boxed in quick hitch. Just why it's going to be better for me. I have got about a dozen implements that hook on the 3-point hitch, and this is the only one that I could see that I wouldn't have to go through and cut and weld and make those other implements, the older implements. Most all the implements I have are old, but I don't have to go back and make those compatible with a box type one-piece quick hitch. This is going to do it for me. Cat 2 Pat's. So with the Pat's system, they want to be able to accommodate just about anybody, probably anybody's lower link arms here. So they put in some shims. You have to have a shim. When you put it on there, it's going to wiggle quite a bit. So you have to shim it up. Mine takes the very thickest shim. With the Cat 2, there are 4 different thicknesses, sizes of shims, and mine is the absolute thickest one. I think with the Cat 1 only comes with 2 shims. I'm not sure. But so you put a roll pin, drive that roll pin in there, put it in, slide it back on, put the pin in it from the inside, and this is a stationary roll pin that's through it that keeps it from wobbling, and you've got a larger hole here which is for the stabilizer bar. So you run it all the way through. And then it's got a little cotter pin here. Put that in. Now, you want to make sure that this is level with your arms. I put a level on my arms, put a level on the Pat's over here, and both of them with that particular shim, both of them seem to be jiving. Both of them seem to be level. So that's where I want it. Got the big U-bolt here that you put in here. This just stabilizes it a little more. Then you'll come in here on these U-bolts, put a flat washer, and you're going to put 2 nuts on either side of the U-bolts. One of those nuts will act as a lock nut when you get it in place, exactly where you want it. You'll do both sides just alike, so I'm going to take that out, put the shim in it, that will keep it from wobbling. Put the pin back in. Cotter pin in for right now. I'm not going to bend it down right now, but I will in just a second. In just to help stabilize. Other U-bolt. My fingers have grease on them. A little slick. So a good way to make sure you're even, level, is to put a broomstick or something in here. Bring it out to where most of your implements are. Most of mine are 26, but I've got some that are 25. I've got them all over the place. That's why I had to go with the pats. With the other hitches, they are fixed. They are like 26, 26 and a quarter, something like that, inside, and 29 outside. And if your implements don't fit in that slot, in that narrow slot on either side, then it's just not going to fit, and you're going to have to go in there and do some work on your implements. You're going to have to cut off the pins and maybe weld on a different thing. So this is the best way for me, but since I have so many implements and so many of them are old and just they're all over the place. Now they're making them pretty standard. The newer implements are pretty standard, where they're all quick hitch compatible, they say. Not all of them, but many of them, or most of them are. But put the rod in there. Once you get them where they're even with each other, they're level with each other, then you can tighten them down. I used an impact wrench. I don't know whether they recommend that or not. I have not tightened up the lock nuts yet. I'll do that with a hand wrench. But the impact wrench was just so much easier. I've got to come back and put a double nut, put a lock nut or a backup nut on these U-bolts, and then I'm ready to start picking up implements. Looking so forward to this. This is just going to simplify my life and save me so much time. It's getting to where it takes 10-15 minutes for me to hook up certain implements. This is going to stop that. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to go ahead and use the wrench to back up, to tighten up these backup nuts, and then we'll be ready to pick something up. Let me show you that. Now my lower arms, this tractor's 20 years old. I have abused it. And so I've got a lot of slack. That's not the Pat's hitch moving. That is my lower arm moving. And something else about these arms, these are telescoping arms, which typically makes it easier to hook up implements. By telescoping, I mean I push that down and I can move these in and out. And that makes it easier to hook up implements. But it's just been lately, even with the telescoping arms, it's still become such a chore and just a pain to do. So I'll get these pins bent out to where they're not going to come undone. And really was not a hard install. Was not hard at all. A little time consuming because I was reading directions and this and that, watching some videos also, and I was setting up a camera, things like that. So it took a little longer than what it's going to take you, I'm sure. But there again, come in here and tighten up all the locking nuts. I think I've already done those. Make sure they're good and tight. And it's probably something you want to come back and check, you know, once every 2 or 3 months, twice, 3 times a year, something like that, to check these and make sure. And again, that is not the Pat's moving around. That is my lower arms moving around because it's old, and because it's got the telescoping. Like I told you, the telescoping just gives it a little leeway in there. I need to grease that. But that makes it also wobble some too. But I love these telescoping arms. I mean, they really come in handy. Not gonna come in as handy now because I've got the Pat's, but before that, man, it would have been terrible to try to hook up without these telescoping or adjusting arms there. My land is not flat. If all my implements were stored inside on the concrete, you know, maybe that wouldn't be a problem. You back up, you hook up, you know, maybe not. As long as you get in straight, it's not that big a deal. But my land is sloped. There's probably not a square foot of my land that's flat. And so these, trying to back up to implements that are stored, you know, sometimes cockeyed, you know, not much, but just a little bit. I try to pick a flat spot, but just a little bit. And if the implement's straight, then the tractor may not be straight. You're sitting on a fire ant mound or sitting on a twig or something like that. So this is just going to make it so much easier, and looking forward to it. Tighten these up. Now, put backup nuts on the U-bolts, and I think we're in business. Every bolt on is 9/16, so you don't have to use a ton of different wrenches and have to run around find this and that. You'll need a hammer, basically, to drive those pins in. A pair of pliers to bend those that pin down out, bend those ends out, and that's about it. And again, that may be something you want to check 2 or 3 times a year. Make sure everything's, make sure all the bolts are tight. But we're ready to go. We're ready to go. Now, one thing I may have to do is I may have to get a longer top length, because you're adding about 4 inches to where this is where your bolt was, your pin was, and it's about 4 inches. So you're adding some length to your arms here, your lower arms. So it could very well be that I'll have to get a new top length, because this one is old and bent and gnarly, and I'm not sure it's going to adjust out as far as I need it to. But if I do, it do. It's about time. That one is, like I say, bent pretty bad, and it's time probably that I get another one anyway. So we'll see. Let's try to hook something up. And but the way it hooked up, clicked in just right. Now they give you about 3 or 4 pair of these bent washers. That's kind of a keeper washer. It keeps it from sliding out. You just basically slide the washer on, put a little pin on it, keeps it in place where this won't rock out and come out if you hit something and start slopping side by side. So that retains that. Again, they give you, I think, 3 sets of them, maybe 4, with each Pat's hitch. Pat's works great. Takes a little, a little backing up skill, and you still have to hit it on pretty close. But if you hit it, if you back up and hit that, you can kind of push your implement just a little bit one side or the other. If you're off just a little bit as far as your angle, and it'll it'll move that, and then just lift up, and it'll lock in place. Once it's locked into place, slide these arms over, and it's locked in forever and ever till you take it off. And undo it like that. I'm gonna take these off, so I'm gonna undo it. Click these to undo it. You just lift up this, put that under it, and it keeps it open, leaves it open, so I can now lower it, slide out from under it. Anyway, that's what it looks like. Easy to put on. It's going to be a lot quicker hooking up implements than it was before. And if you're doing a brush hog with the other quick hitches that are right here, it's got a big frame on it. It's just hard to get in there to hook up the PTO, whether it be on on a cutter or just whatever you have that might involve PTO. Tiller, I've got a tiller, it's got a PTO too, and they're hard to hook up. They're kind of hard to get in as it is, unless you're a real wiry and skinny. So that would just make it even harder to have a big block here coming up like this, and you got to kind of get around it. So it's going to be a much better on that. Also hooking up any implement that has a PTO. So excited about it. Thanks to Pat's for sending me this, and you'll be seeing a lot more of it in a lot more videos, because I'm gonna use the heck out of it. Until then, we're gone.